Stress is turning out to be one of the commonest epidemic in today's world. Almost everybody is under constant stress. Not just the adults, but the youngsters, even the kids are going through stress. In this episode, let us try to identify what are the common factors that causes stresses, what is its effect on our body, and what can be done to tackle the same. In other words, what can be done to improve our resilience and not just pop in a pill. The common stressors can be in the form of academic stress, which is what the young kids are facing today. The young adults have job stress, career stress. Now there are others who have relationship stress. Until you get married, it is about when will you get married. Once you get married, it is about adjusting with a second person, the issues with the in-laws, the one with the society, and then it is about having a kid. Now, if you do not have a kid, there is stress. Once you have the kid, it is about raising the kid because you will be having sleepless nights. Now, once this part is set, then you have the career-related stress. And once all of these are done, then you have another sort of stress in the form of aging, which is health-related stress. In earlier days, it used to be at least few infections here and there, the stress for survival, and the age-related disorders. But in today's world, there are many more. Like you have infections and inflammations from a very young age. By the middle age, we are all almost aged. And towards the end of the life, we have age-related disorders. Though the life expectancy has increased, the quality of life has almost dipped. So what are the effects of these kind of stresses on our body? As it has been already understood, being under constant state of stress leads to a fight-flight mode, wherein the nervous system is almost always on its toes, remaining triggered, because of which it affects the gut health, hormonal health, out of which the two hormones that are affected the most because of stress are thyroid and reproductive health hormones. Then it also affects the nervous system and the immunity. Now that we know that these are the common stresses, and before we understand what can Ayurveda contribute to the same, let us identify if Ayurveda talks about the same. In the 3,000-year-old doctrine over Ayurveda, which is Ashtanga Hridaya, starts with the textbook stating that almost all diseases stems out from Ragadi. It goes like this: Ragadi Rogan, Sadadana Shaktan, Ashesha Kaya Prasadan Asheshan, Autsukya Mohan Pradidan Jakhana, Yo Apuru Vaidyaya Namostu Tasmi, which says almost all diseases which stems out of Ragadi, which is Raga, Dvesha, Moha, Lobha, Bhaya, Krodha, and constantly undergoing these kind of extreme emotions leads to anxiety, confusion, and restlessness, which is exactly what majority of the adults are struggling with today. Now that being the case, what can be done about it? Is it about doing yoga, meditation, pranayam, or popping in a pill? Well, many of us have already started doing it, and we still have a lot of people saying that this has not been helping them. So what else is left to be done? And that's exactly where the Ayurvedic remedies comes into relevance. It not just talks about popping in pills in the form of Medhya Rasayanas or brain tonic herbs in the form of Brahmi, Jadamanchi, Ashwagandha, but there is something more to it. And that is about working on your resilience. And that is in the form of certain guidelines. Guidelines of what to do, what not to do, how to live. These have been explained and these have been laid down for every human, irrespective of where you are born, when you are born. And they happen to be Dinacharya, a certain daily regimen that helps you to live in tune with the nature. Just because we do not interact much with nature in today's world doesn't mean that we are not part of the nature. We are very much part of the nature, and therefore we need to live in tune with the nature so as to ensure that the circadian rhythm is maintained. 2, there has to be a certain aharacharya, as in you need to know what exactly suits you, what are the right food combinations, when to eat, when not to eat. These are basic guidelines that every human should be taught from the time he is born. 3, Ratricharya, there are certain to-dos that you need to do before you hit the bed. Not that you can go to bed just like that, because then eventually when you struggle with insomnia, you wouldn't know what is going wrong. Fourth, Ritucharya, which is how to take care of your body physically and mentally with respect to climate. Because just like the climate has its effect on the nature, it affects our body too. And therefore we need to eat, sleep and do things in tune with the nature. Fifth and the most important one, which is Sadvrita. Sad means good, Vrita means conduct. Now, Sadvrita can be at different planes. Sadvrita, or the good conduct, happens to be at 5 levels: physical, emotional, mental, moral and social. These basic guidelines or the conducts have to be taught to every person, young or old, because then you have a certain basement, you have an idea what is right, what is not right, and whenever you go against it, you know that you are not doing it the right way, and this not just affects you at the mental level, but it also affects you at the physical level, and this helps in maintaining the 3 dosha balance in your body. The very same thing which most often patients ask us, "Doctor, I do not know why there is so much of imbalance in my body. I have been trying to eat right, I have been sleeping on time, I have been trying to exercise, but still I'm not healthy." Now, despite of doing all this, if you're not healthy, you need to dig deeper. Have you been living true to your nature? Have you been doing right? The very same thing that I had actually mentioned in one of the previous videos called Pratnyaparata. Now, the rest of the topics we shall discuss in the upcoming videos. Do let me know if this makes sense.